Hey everybody, this is Geneva of Geneva's Closet Talk Show. Please make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to Geneva's Closet if you haven't already done so right here on YouTube. And you can follow me on Facebook at Geneva's Closet. And you can email me at genevascloset22@gmail.com. Now, let's get into the news. Hey everybody, this is Geneva of Geneva's Closet Talk Show. So, we're about to get into this Diddy and Lil Rod court documents. Now, did you check out my first video, part 1, where I read through the court documents? You need to check that out because it practically reads like a book. Well, we're going to get into part 2 in the last final part of this book reading, this court document reading. And in this part, Lil Rod is talking about Sean Combs. He gets into a little bit more detail about Justin Combs and Christian Combs. He even talks some more about Young Miami's cousin and Daphne Joy is in this part. Daphne Joy, 50 Cent baby mama. Yes. So make sure you check this out. Yeah, check it out. Wait a minute. I almost forgot. Don't you know the lady who shined, Diddy's rap artist back in 1999 when he was with Jennifer Lopez and he was at the New York City nightclub, and then somebody got a shot in the face and then Shine went to jail for all of that time? Well, the lady who got shot in the face, she done came out to speak her truth. And some of her truth is that she's on Lil Rod's side. And she said it was not Shine that shot her in the face. It was Diddy. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video because I've included some other things that was not included in the court documents, but it's included. So check this out. Warning. Just want to let you know that this reading will contain some highly graphic information. Like some sex and some drugs and all of that type of stuff. So if you're not ready for all of that, then don't check this out. Defendant Christina is the Ghislaine Maxwell to Sean Combs, Jeffrey Epstein. According to Mr. Jones, during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Mr. Combs, he witnessed Mr. Combs display and distribute guns from his bedroom closet in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, to questionable individuals dressed in all black. According to Mr. Jones, during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Mr. Combs, he witnessed defendant Christina openly order her assistants to keep Mr. Combs high off gummies and pills. Defendant Christina required all employees from the butler, the chef, to the housekeepers to walk around with a pouch or fanny pack filled with cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, marijuana gummies, about 100 to 250 milligrams each, and Tootsie, a pink drug that is a combination of ecstasy and cocaine. It was important to defendant Christina to have Mr. Combs' drug of choice immediately ready when he asked for it. Defendant Christina ordered sex workers and prostitutes for Mr. Combs. Defendant Christina ordered and distributed ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms to Mr. Combs and his celebrity guests who were present on his rented yacht in his homes in LA, New York City, and Miami. On multiple occasions, defendant Christina forced Mr. Jones to carry Mr. Combs' drug pouch against his will. As the chief of staff, defendant Christina was instrumental in organizing and executing the RICO enterprise. Defendant Christina had the following individuals execute the following task for the RICO enterprise. Stevie J recruits sex workers and attends and participates in freak-offs. Justin Combs solicits prostitutes, underage girls, and sex workers would engage in freak-offs. Brendan Paul works as Mr. Combs' mule. He acquires and distributes Mr. Combs' drugs and guns. Here's a footnote included. Rodney is alleging that he has a recording of this and will provide it to the court. He is also alleging a video of Mr. Combs, Stevie J, and Plaintiff Jones at a strip club where Mr. Combs is recording the video while coaching and training Plaintiff Jones how to recruit the sex workers. The following are the rest of the people that defendant Christina had execute certain tasks for the RICO enterprise. Frankie Santella works alongside Brendan. While Brendan acquires and distributes Mr. Combs' drugs and guns, Frankie carries the money and pays for the guns and drugs. Moy Bond, if I'm saying that correctly, hires sex workers, attends and participates in freak-offs. Mr. Combs funded and used his affiliation with local gangs and gang leaders who would frequent his homes in LA and Miami to secure the drugs and guns he obtained and distributed out of his homes in LA and Miami. Defendants executed their RICO enterprise with threats of violence, threatening to eat plaintiff's face, displaying and distributing guns in plaintiff's presence, bragging about having law enforcement under control, bragging about murdering people, and bragging about bribing witnesses and jurors in the criminal case concerning the 1999 New York City nightclub shooting with Shine.
I'm letting all y'all niggas know if I ain't hot, y'all niggas ain't hot. So this is a message to everybody. I don't know, y'all acting like I could be motherfucking lukewarm and y'all gonna be hot. You ever put your foot in a bathtub, that shit scalding hot, you feel like the meat just got torn off that shit. Yeah, hot. And I can show y'all how we have fun and stay out of jail too. Show y'all how we have fun and stay out of jail too. Show y'all how we have fun and stay out of jail too. I'll show y'all how we have fun and stay out of jail too. And make money. What's up? Pray for me. It's been taking me fucking ever to get back to my exact tone of not giving a fuck.
Defendants executed their RICO enterprise with threats of isolation from the music and entertainment industry, parading powerful music industry executives such as defendants Lucian in Ethiopia at his parties filled with sex workers, minors, and illegal drugs such as ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms. Defendant executed their RICO enterprise with threats of non-payment for work, completed fake promises of cash payments, $250,000, Producer of the Year Grammy Awards, and guaranteed access to future projects, and a $20 million home on Star Island in Miami. Mr. Combs is allowed to wreak havoc. While living and traveling with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones discovered that Mr. Combs has hidden cameras in every room of his homes. Mr. Jones believed that Mr. Combs has recordings of defendants Lucian and Ethiopia, as well as other celebrities, music label executives, politicians, and athletes. Upon information and belief, these individuals were recorded without their knowledge and consent. And as is the case with the homosexual sex tape of Stevie J that Mr. Combs provided to Mr. Jones, Mr. Combs possesses compromising footage of every person that has attended his freak-off parties and his house parties. Upon information and belief, due to this treasure trove of evidence he has in his possession, Mr. Combs believes that he is above the law and is untouchable. Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs employs Jose Cruz as his IT director. The writer has spoken to several former employees of Mr. Combs who confirmed that Jose Cruz is the gatekeeper to all of Mr. Combs' recordings. Upon information and belief, Jose Cruz intentionally hides behind the camera and from social media and the internet due to all the incriminating acts he was required to record for Mr. Combs. Now we've come to the part of the court documents where Rodney is giving his cause of action. And when I looked that up, because, I don't always understand legal lingo, it says that the cause of action is the legal claim, a claim that sometimes goes unstated that allows a party to seek judicial relief. This gives the legal right to seek a remedy because of the act or omission, failure to perform duty, or breach of obligation of the defendant towards the plaintiff. So this court document has 73 pages. I'm not going to read all 73 pages, but what I am going to do is read the parts that I felt like stood out to me. So here we go. First cause of action. Conduct and participate in a RICO enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, violation of Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act. As respondent superior, defendants Lucian, Ethiopia, Combs Global, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group are 100% liable for the actions of Sean Combs, Justin Combs, Christina, as they were acting in their capacities as the respondent superior collective employees when they committed the acts detailed below. The respondent superior collective failed to adequately monitor, warn, or supervise the actions of Sean Combs, Justin Combs, and Christina. Defendants are individuals and or entities within the meaning of person as defined in 18 U.S.C. because each is capable of holding and does hold a legal or beneficial interest in property. The association is composed of Lucian, Ethiopia, Sean Combs, Justin Combs, Christina, Combs Global, Motown Records, Love Records, Universal Music Group, John and Jane Doe's 1 through 10, and ABC Corporations 1 through 10. Section 1962 makes it unlawful for any person who has received any income derived directly or indirectly from a pattern of racketeering activity or through a collection of an unlawful debt in which such person has participated as a principal within the meaning of Section 2, Title 18 United States Code, to use or invest, directly or indirectly, any part of such income or the proceeds of such income in the acquisition of any interest in or the establishment or operation of any enterprise which is engaged in or the activities of which affect interstate or foreign commerce. Section 1962C makes it unlawful for any person employed or associated with any enterprise engaged in or the activities of which affect interstate or foreign commerce to conduct or participate directly or indirectly in the conduct of such enterprises, affairs, through a pattern of racketeering activity. Defendants have unlawfully increased their profits by luring and deceiving producers, musicians, writers, creators, and artists, such as plaintiff, to transport drugs, ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms, transport firearms, solicit minors, exotic dancers, sex workers, and to utilize their talents and labor to produce music and other tangible goods and services without compensation. The RICO enterprise, which all defendants have engaged in, and the activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce, is comprised of an association, in fact, of persons, including each defendant and other unnamed co-conspirators. That association, in fact, was structured by various contracts and non-contractual relationships between the defendants by which defendants assumed different roles in agreeing to carry out a mail and wire fraud scheme to acquire drugs, firearms, prostitutes, minors, sex workers, and the labor of producers, musicians, writers, creators, and artists, such as plaintiff, to utilize their talents and labor to produce music and other tangible goods and services without compensation. The members of the RICO enterprise all share a common purpose: to enrich themselves financially and sexually at the expense of producers, musicians, writers, creators, and artists by maximizing defendants' revenues through fraudulent means. As set forth herein, defendants benefited financially from their scheme to defraud plaintiff by intimidating plaintiff with threats of violence, threatening to eat plaintiff's face, displaying and distributing guns in plaintiff's presence, bragging about having law enforcement under control, bragging about murdering people, and bragging about bribing witnesses and jurors in the criminal case concerning the 1999 New York City nightclub shooting with Shine. Threats of isolation from the music and entertainment industry, parading powerful music industry executives such as defendants Lucian in Ethiopia at his parties filled with sex workers, minors, and illegal drugs such as ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms. Threats of non-payment for work completed, fake promises of cash payments, Producer of the Year Grammy Awards, and guarantee access to future projects. A $20 million home on Star Island in Miami, which defendants would not have done but for the existence of the scheme. Upon information and belief, this RICO enterprise has existed for at least 20 years, dating back to the 1999 nightclub shooting in New York City when Mr. Combs required his then girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, to transport his legal firearm into the New York City nightclub. Mr. Combs forced his then artist Shine to assume responsibility for the shooting of several individuals. Mr. Combs used his power, money, and influence to bribe jurors and witnesses such as the friend of shooting victim, Natania Rubin, if I'm saying that correctly, who reported to law enforcement that she saw Mr. Combs and not Shine pull the trigger and shoot her friend in the face. Ms. Rubin later testified at Mr. Combs' criminal trial that she was tying her shoe and may not have seen who shot the gun. She later confessed that Mr. Combs paid her. The RICO enterprise continued throughout the years, including during Mr. Combs' 10-year relationship with his girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. According to Ms. Ventura's civil complaint, the RICO enterprise continued in her relationship when Mr. Combs forced her to carry his gun in her purse, forced her to engage in unwanted sexual acts with male prostitutes, sex workers, forced her to consume dangerous amounts of ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and alcohol, and paying a member of his security team $5,000 to blow up the vehicle of Kid Cudi because he was jealous and insecure of their relationship. The RICO enterprise continued from September 2022 to the present day, as evidenced by the hundreds of hours of video and audio recordings in plaintiff's possession. Defendants, Sean Combs, Justin Combs, Christina, his assistants, and all orchestrated staff participated, managed, and executed the RICO enterprise by purchasing and distributing ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms, by purchase and distributing firearms, by requiring the solicitation of sexual encounters with prostitutes, sex workers, and minors, and by forcing artists, creatives, musicians, and producers to utilize their talents and labor to produce music and other tangible goods and services without compensation. The RICO enterprise has functioned as a continuing unit and maintains a structure separate and distinct from the pattern of racketeering activity. The enterprise was characterized by the defendant's pattern of false representation and omissions made by defendants Diddy, Sean Combs, and Christina, and other current and former members of the defendants, associates, and staff to defendants' artists, creatives, and musicians and producers. These false representations and omissions were designed to induce defendants, artists, creators, musicians, and producers to utilize their talents and labor to produce music and other tangible goods and services without compensation. As part of the scheme, defendants required their artists, creatives, musicians, and producers to visit strip clubs wearing exclusive bad boy merchandise and to use the name and reputation of Mr. Combs to solicit sex workers and prostitutes. Additionally, Mr. Combs used the profits of winning Grammy Awards, purchasing $20 million homes, participating in future projects, making $250,000 cash payments, and meeting influential music industry executives such as Defendant Solution in Ethiopia. This pattern of false representation was disseminated to artists, creatives, musicians, and producers who reside in California, Florida, New York, and around the country by defendants based in California and New York under the direction and on behalf of defendants in New York. The dissemination typically used interstate telephone wires, social media messages, and electronic mail. Robin Greenhill, the accountant, would ensure the wiring, funds transfer, or cash payments to sex workers. Frankie Santella, Moy Bond, Brendan Paul, and Christina would also be responsible for ensuring payment to sex workers in cash. Young Miami, Jade and Daphne Joy were paid a monthly fee to work as Mr. Combs' sex workers and received payment via wire transfer from Robin Greenhill, which outlined defendants' ongoing criminal operation. Fourth cause of action, sexual assault against Jane Doe 1, Young Miami's cousin. As described, Jane Doe 1 frightened and placed plaintiff in apprehension of harm when she physically and sexually assaulted him on Thanksgiving Day 2022 in Mr. Combs' home in Miami, Florida. Jane Doe 1 forcibly touched and attempted and or threatened to touch plaintiff's intimate areas and or touch plaintiff with her own intimate body parts. Jane Doe 1 used her mouth and performed oral sex on plaintiff while he was urinating in the restroom. Plaintiff fought her off while Mr. Combs and his associates sat outside loudly laughing. Jane Doe 1 then followed Mr. Jones outside of the restroom and began undressing in front of Mr. Combs and his associates, straddled Mr. Jones, and attempted to have forced sexual intercourse with him. As a result of Jane Doe 1's conduct, plaintiff has suffered and continues to suffer harm, including physical injury, severe emotional distress, humiliation, anxiety, and other consequential damages for which he is entitled to an award of monetary damages and other relief. The conduct of Jane Doe 1 described above was willful, wanton, and malicious. At all relevant times, Jane Doe 1 acted with conscious disregard for plaintiff's rights and feelings, acted with the knowledge of or with reckless disregard for the fact that her conduct was certain to cause injury and or humiliation to plaintiff, and intended to cause fear, physical injury, and or pain and suffering to plaintiff. By virtue of the foregoing, plaintiff is entitled to recover punitive damages. As the owner of the property, Mr. Combs had a duty to protect Mr. Jones from the harm he suffered at the hands of Jane Doe 1. Mr. Combs breached his duty when he failed to stop Jane Doe 1 from sexually assaulting Mr. Jones. In furtherance of this breach, Mr. Combs was laughing and encouraging Jane Doe 1 to continue her assault of Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones has suffered immensely because of Mr. Combs' intentional breach of his duty to him. As a result of Mr. Combs' breach of his duty, Mr. Jones has suffered and continues to suffer harm, including severe emotional distress, anxiety, and other consequential damages for which he is entitled to an award of monetary damages and other relief. Sixth cause of action, premises liability for the sexual assault committed by Cuba Gooding Jr. against Mr. Combs. Here, Mr. Jones was sexually assaulted by Cuba Gooding Jr. on a yacht rented by Mr. Combs in the U.S. Virgin Islands in January 2023. Mr. Combs was present while Mr. Jones was being assaulted by Cuba Gooding Jr. Mr. Jones was legally on the premises as a guest and invitee of Mr. Combs. Cuba Gooding Jr. was legally on the premises as a guest and invitee of Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs owned, through renting, the premises and had dominion and control over the premises where Mr. Jones was harmed. Mr. Combs had dominion and control over the actions of Cuba Gooding Jr. and failed to step in and stop Cuba Gooding Jr. from sexually assaulting Mr. Jones. As the owner of the property, Mr. Combs had a duty to protect Mr. Jones from the harm he suffered at the hands of Cuba Gooding Jr. Mr. Combs breached his duty when he failed to stop Cuba Gooding Jr. from sexually assaulting Mr. Jones. In furtherance of this breach, Mr. Combs encouraged Cuba Gooding Jr. to continue his assault of Mr. Jones when he said that Cuba Gooding Jr. should privately get to know Mr. Jones better. Mr. Jones has suffered immensely because of Mr. Combs' intentional breach of his duty to him. Between on or about September 12, 2022 and through about November 2023, defendants Sean Combs, Justin Combs, Christina, and Combs Global concealed its delivery of hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash to Mr. Combs and his associates. As part of perpetrating violations, defendants Sean Combs, Justin Combs, Christina, and Combs Global also willfully failed to file required taxes with the federal government. Defendants Sean Combs, Justin Combs, Christina, and Combs Global Affirmative conduct was committed knowing and in reckless disregard of the facts that Mr. Combs would use cash and the financial support provided by defendants, Love Records, Motown Records, and the Universal Music Group as a means of defrauding and forcing sex acts from Plaintiff Jones as well as others. Defendants, Sean Combs, Justin Combs, and Christina, and Combs Global, conduct was outrageous and intentional. On or about January 2023, Justin Combs engaged in a freak-off session on a yacht with his father and sex workers. Mr. Combs' co-conspirators benefited financially and received things of value from their participation in the Combs sex trafficking venture, including payments and other compensation from Mr. Combs. The co-conspirators who benefited financially include defendants Justin Combs, Christina, and her direct reports, Brendan Paul, Frankie Santella, and Moy Bond. The cash that defendants Lucian, Ethiopia, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group provided was necessary for Mr. Combs to manipulate Plaintiff Jones to engage in commercial sex acts. The cash directly formed part of the commercial nature of the sex acts. The cash was also a necessary and required part of Mr. Combs' recruitment of Plaintiff Jones, as well as other sex workers, prostitutes, and underage minors. By providing cash that defendants Lucian, Ethiopia, Motown Records, Love Records, and the Universal Music Group knew would be used to fund the sex trafficking venture, the defendants actively participated in the recruitment of victims of the venture. The cash that defendants Lucian, Ethiopia, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group provided went far beyond providing routine sponsorship, partnership, and employer compensation for a subordinate. It was far from routine for defendants Lucian, Ethiopia, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group to provide substantial sums of cash per year to Mr. Combs, who did not have an apparent legitimate need for such extravagant sums. The sheer number of listening parties, yacht parties, and nighttime writers' camps, after parties which defendants Lucian, Ethiopia, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group sponsored went far beyond normal for the music industry. The defendants knew or should have known that they were feeding Mr. Combs' sexual deviancy. Moreover, the circumstances in which Mr. Combs was requesting such large amounts were far from routine and should have raised numerous red flags, taking it well outside routine circumstances. Among the concrete steps that the defendants took to aid and participate in the Combs sex trafficking venture were opening up numerous lines of credit for Mr. Combs' production of the Love album, his related entities, and associates. By opening up these lines of credit and by consistently sponsoring his freak-off parties, defendants received many benefits from participating in Mr. Combs' ventures. The sponsoring of these events was affirmative conduct that caused defendants to receive those benefits. Among the concrete steps that defendants, took to aid the Combs sex trafficking venture between about 2000 and continuing through November 2023, all the defendants concealed its delivery of vast sums of cash, likely millions of dollars, to Mr. Combs and his associates in order to benefit from the Combs sex trafficking venture. Defendants, all of them, willfully failed to timely file required tax disclosures surrounding the funding of these sex trafficking parties with the federal government, because doing so would mess up their ability to profit from the sex trafficking ventures. Defendants' knowledge or their reckless disregard of the fact that Combs would use means of force, threats of force, fraud, manipulation, and a combination of such means to cause Plaintiff Jones, as well as others, some of whom were under the age of 17, to engage in commercial sex acts. Defendants Lucian and Ethiopia are officers of defendants Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group, and knew the names of many of Combs' sex trafficking freak-off participants: Young Miami, Daphne Joy, Stevie J, and Jade. Defendants Lucian, Ethiopia, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group helped to conceal the names of Combs' victims from the public and from law enforcement and prosecuting agencies by helping to conceal the existence of the sex trafficking venture. Among the ways in which defendants helped to conceal the venture's existence was by providing the cash necessary for the venture to avoid leaving a visible paper trail. Additionally, they employed and empowered Fahim Muhammad and defended Christina to pay off law enforcement and to compensate the sex workers with cash. Defendants had constructive knowledge that it was participating in Combs' sex trafficking venture. Defendants also had constructive knowledge that plaintiff and other underage minors were being made to sex traffic by Combs. Its constructive knowledge extended to the names of Combs' victims because Combs and his associates knew the names of the victims. Mr. Combs had hundreds of cameras in his homes in LA, New York City, and Miami. Mr. Combs required the sex workers and underage girls to sign NDAs prior entering his parties and prior to being drugged and sex trafficked at these parties. Also, among these specific acts giving rise to constructive knowledge were the facts that associates of Mr. Combs made numerous cash withdrawals from defendants' accounts through Mr. Combs' accountant, Robert Greenhill. The circumstances of these withdrawals gave defendants notice that Mr. Combs' sex trafficking enterprise was being funded. Among the financial benefit that the defendants received for participating and facilitating Combs' sex trafficking venture were the affiliation and access to Mr. Combs' popularity. Mr. Combs was known for throwing the best parties. Affiliation with and or sponsorship of Mr. Combs' sex trafficking parties garnered legitimacy and access to celebrities such as famous athletes, political figures, artists, musicians, and international dignitaries like British Royal Prince Harry. Defendants knew, acted in reckless disregard of the fact, and should have known that its obstruction in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1591D would directly lead to unlawful commercial sex acts by Mr. Combs with men like Plaintiff Jones, young men, women, and young girls. Prayer for relief. Wherefore, plaintiff prays that the court enter judgment in his favor and against defendants containing the following relief. A declaratory judgment that the actions, conduct, and practices of defendants complained of herein violate the laws of the state of New York. An award of damages against defendant in an amount to be determined at trial, plus prejudgment interest to compensate plaintiff for all monetary and or economic damages, including, but not limited to, loss of past and future income, wages, compensation, seniority, and other benefits of employment. An award of damages against defendant in an amount to be determined at trial, plus prejudgment interest to compensate plaintiff for all non-monetary and or compensatory damages, including, but not limited to, compensation for his mental anguish, humiliation, embarrassment, stress, and anxiety, emotional pain and suffering, and emotional distress. An award of punitive damages in an amount to be determined at trial. Prejudgment interest on all amounts due. An award of costs that plaintiff has incurred in this action, including, but not limited to, expert witness fees, as well as plaintiff's reasonable attorney fees and costs to the fullest extent permitted by law, and such other and further relief as the court may deem just and proper.
Yeah, we want to thank you. Come in. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not giving the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. I should look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. I should.
Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, that's how. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What the fuck did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this with me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes. And we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was fucking stupid. Listen.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need to know?
Thanks for agreeing to do this interview. I know it's a really tough time for you right now, but we really appreciate your time.
Let's do it.
Now, is Puff, P. Diddy, how do you want me to refer to you?
You can call me Love.
Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, all the allegations. Are you attracted to men or women?
It depends on my mood, my vibe.
Is it true that you've had sexual relations with Meek Mill?
I can't tell you that.
I don't think Meek is gay. I do not think Meek is gay. But he is incredibly bad at proving he's straight. He is maybe the worst in history at doing that. When someone accuses you of being gay, you don't get on Twitter and go, I love pussy so much, it's so juicy and white, it's my favorite thing, the part I get it. He was like, I even had sex with a girl on her period. That's how you know I love women. He tweeted that and I was like, oh, he thinks that's disgusting. And you know who else thinks that's disgusting? The gays. Shout out Meek, man. He's done a lot of amazing things with prison reform, right? Getting all them gay dudes out so he can suck their dicks properly. A bunch of fine-ass motherfuckers in jail. We need them on the streets so I can bust them cheeks.
I think them white boys fuck you niggas when you niggas go on them boat ride, when you niggas gotta put them white shorts on with them white shirts, with them white socks and them white shoes, and you be in your all white. In my mind, I think them white boys fucking y'all. How the fuck y'all gonna be around all them kind of white men, nigga? Ain't no bitches around. A bunch of niggas on the boat with no bitches. All white party. All white party, nigga, with them billionaire white boys like Robert Kraft. Them some freaky white boys, nigga. Jump for me, Meek. We got a bet, Meek. Come on, Meek. Come on, Meek. Don't you be a sore loser. Bunny hop for me, Meek. And you did it.
Why are you doing bunny hops, Meek? Because you got your ass beat in tennis. You got your ass beat. Keep going. Count out loud. That's the wrong time, nigga. Count out loud. 30. Can't, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 41, 42. Keep out. Keep going. 7, 8, 9, 1, 2. Keep going. Keep going. Don't cheat on your bunny hops. They suck. Your bunny hops suck. You got 250 more to go.
Nah, you supposed to say, nah, I'm reneging on that bit. Bunny hop for me, Meek.
Son's life could stop breathing right now. Puff had a brownstone, I believe, on 35th Street and like Park Avenue between it's some brownstones down there. I believe 35th or 36th. And Mace was staying there. And I went to go meet him down there one day so we could bust a move. This is when he just signed with Bad Boy. He didn't even have an album out yet. He was just getting signed. And I went to use a bathroom, and there was a dildo on the bathroom sink. And when I came out, I asked him what's about. He like, that's homeboy's joint. You know, I don't know what it's about. He always have girls over here, but I don't know. I said, well, this one your sink. This is your bathroom. You're using this bathroom. I don't know where his bathroom at. You know what I'm saying?
It say take a shower if you like golden showers. I do.
Golden showers, meaning when the guy pees on you, pee on you everywhere. You like it?
I just like it.
You do? Freak. Freak of the week, huh? So you say take a shot. You say take a shot. Oh, we need a shot.
I take a shot.
You like go to shower?
I do.
But like peeing on you?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just do something.
I'm gonna be honest. Hold on.
I'm letting all y'all niggas know if I ain't hot, y'all niggas ain't hot. Well, this is a message to everybody. I don't know. You're acting like I could be motherfucking lukewarm and y'all gonna be hot. You ever put your foot in a bathtub, that shit scalding hot, you feel like the meat just got torn off that shit. Yeah, hot. And I can show y'all how we have fun and stay out of jail too. Show y'all how we have fun and stay out of jail too. Show y'all how we have fun and stay out of jail too. Show y'all how we have fun and stay out of jail too. And make money. what's up? Pray for me. It's been taking me fucking ever to get back to my exact tone of not giving a fuck.
Sunset.
I run shit.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Little Rod ain't worth giving this kingdom to if we don't control his publishing. I can solve his efforts with 3 other human beings. He's eating at our table, and I like his backstory, but you need to have other people. It's hard to work with him unless we have his pub. He's a piece of shit human, but we do not need his talent unless we can work with him.
Of the club incident that ultimately, where you was like,
You know what's interesting about that is that at that point I had done the transformation.
When the club incident happened, you'd already
I'd done the transformation. I was carrying Puff's suitcases. It was, you know, we were at a point where I wasn't even really dealing with Puff. I remember, you know, I was in my own world. You know, we would be, you know, dating the same girls. Like, he's the owner of the record label. He's worth like 40 million. I got a little light million, and I think like I'm on the same level with him. Like, I dropped the ball because the reason I went to him is because I knew he was the guru. So like, how do I come into class and now, you know, I'm the teacher? Right. I totally, you know, got it confused. Like, you know what? You're right. I don't want to just have a car. I don't want to just have jewelry. I want to be successful. I want to make my impact on the world. I want to create music that's going to last forever. I don't ever want you to talk to me like that again. And so, you know, that straightened me out, and I started focusing, and I just started, you know, sticking next to Puff. So the entire 99, everywhere Puff is, I'm with Puff. I carry the bags. I'll do whatever. You know, just give me the keys. Give me the information. You know, let's do what I came to do. I came from Belize, you know, to be a success. I didn't come to Belize because they're artists where their albums never come out. So by the time we got to the end of 99, I was already totally transformed. The humility, like I said, I went from, you know, trying to, you know, date the same girls that Puff was dating to carrying the bags and, you know, whatever you want me to do, just give me the information, let's make the record. And in 98, you know, and it's not like I was doing anything, you know, like inhumane, but just, you know, being young and you know, just being, you know, aggressive. Yeah, it was a lot of negative energy. And, you know, honestly, I was defending myself that night. You know, I really didn't go to Club New York, you know, looking for trouble. You know, unfortunately, I had just been shot at, you know, 30 days before Club New York in front of Daddy. In front of Daddy. Yeah, I was, you know, and I had been shot when I was a kid. So I was really just protecting myself. You know, Scar and those guys, they're murderers. Like, you know, they're kids from the street that get busy. So when they're arguing with Puff, even though I know them and we're from Brooklyn and we all cool, when they say, I'm gonna kill you, when they, you know, when I see somebody reach, it's gonna happen. So again, you could say, well, we should have waited until we got outside, or we should have tried to get outside.
So it's a life and death decision for you at that moment.
Yeah, so, but I wasn't on one like running around crazy in 99. I was carrying bags and I was, you know, wherever Puff was, I was a shadow and I was in the studio making records. You know, but I guess that's how it happens sometimes.
Hey, how you doing? So, here today about this latest lawsuit with the P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Sean Puffy Combs, whatever you want to call him, lawsuit that has come out involving the producer Little Rod. So basically his last two lawsuits, or last two major lawsuits, the one with Cassie, she made mention that Puffy made her carry his guns into nightclubs and wherever they went. And he threatened her to make her feel like she had to do so. And while there were lots of things of importance, that stood out to me. And I'm going to tell you why. In this lawsuit with the producer Little Rod, they were both SA'd by him and threatened and physically harmed. But in this lawsuit, he appears to be a very young producer to me. But he said something very specific. As a means of threatening him, Puffy said, that's why I shot up the club in New York back in 1999 and let Shine take the fall for it. Let me tell you why that's of utmost importance to me. Because I am the woman who he shot in the face in that 1999, December 27th, 1999, Club New York shooting. I have told everyone ad nauseum since then, even the surgeon who did the surgery to take the bullet. I got shot in my face with a 9mm hollow point bullet called a cop killer. I literally have told everyone and never changed what I said. I watched him. I got pow-powed in the face. I watched him fire the gun. I've said it all this time. Even the surgeon who did my surgery to take out part of the bullet fragments that was aspirating into my lungs and try to remove as many bullet fragments as possible, testified in the criminal trial that while they were putting me under, I was screaming, Puffy, pew pew me in the face. He testified in the criminal trial. It is in the record. They all knew he did it. Everybody knew he did it. But he paid off the club bouncer named Sharice and all these other people and the club owners with their video to hide the video. That's his MO. I told everybody that. This man almost took my life, has traumatized my life, has caused undue harm, irreparable damage to my life, lied his behind off. I've had all these youngins on the internet harassing me, swearing that I'm making it up that he did it. And look what he did to Little Rod. He threatened him. Oh, you don't think I bust my gun? I shot up the club in Club New York and let Shine take the fall for it. I shot them people. Well. It only took 24 whole years for it to come out. You see this tattoo? This commemorates me getting shot. It took 24 years for him to come out and say it. I've been saying it all along, but y'all pick and choose who y'all want to believe. Oh, baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. Not only did he pew me in the face, he also set off a course of harassment against me for the past 24 years. When I tell you the things I went through, there was a time in 2017 and 2018 where I got 7 flats on my BMW. 7, the same tire, in a 2-year span. 7 on the same tire, and they were all new. Every time it happened, I had to get a new tire. I have the pictures to prove it. Harassing me. You want to know why? Because prior to Cassie, I was the only person to be victimized by him and then to successfully sue him and get paid. And he had to pay me out of his pocket. He has never gotten over that. Oh, baby. You see this RICO charge that's about to come? This conspiring and pew-pewing up the club and ruining or attempting to ruin my life? As God as my witness, I will not stop until you suffer every single iota of punishment, until I have every second of recompense that you took from me. For every tear that I had to cry or my children had to cry, I am going to get $1 million back from you. I will not stop until you pay the price for what you did to my life. And for all you people out there on the internet and in cyberspace and in the far reaches of my life or the perimeters or wherever who always like, oh, she just saying that to get some. Hell, what you got to say now? What you got to say now? I had some youngins on the internet that ain't even old enough, that weren't even alive when it happened, arguing me down, cussing me out, calling me everything but a child of God. Go check Instagram. It's there. Harassing my life. harassing me. Oh, you lying. He ain't do that to you. You just want clout. You just chasing clout. What is that to chase clout about? How is that clout chase worthy? It doesn't even make sense. Well, I guess it would make sense in this new generation. But you better believe I will have my say. I will have my say. Hashtag having my say. Hashtag the dopest nerd ever. Hashtag Eb Talks. Y'all ain't seen or heard nothing yet.
I would like to know how you all feel about this situation, and while you are letting me know, could you please like and share this video and subscribe to Genevas Closet if you haven't already done so right here on YouTube. And you can follow me on Facebook at Genevas Closet, and you can email me at genevascloset22@gmail.com. You all have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.